So I went ahead and hit live.
It says NFL weekly matchup.
Yeah, I'll fix that. Because basically the only thing, since we'll go live, the only thing you got to worry about is like editing stuff for the podcast. So for like the actual Spotify and stuff. Now, if we do it this way, I'll probably just won't even edit the YouTube part and just it be the non-edited version, which will make it easier because the YouTube takes a while to upload, to be honest. Hopefully it lets me download this after this. I'm not sure if it will, though. If not, this week is just going to be only on YouTube, and we'll have to figure something out next week. But all right, let me get the picks and stuff. We'll start in like 2 minutes. All right, so if you do join, we are recording for our podcast that'll go up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, our Week 11 picks and preview. Jesus Christ, Preston. Did I do that or you did that? Okay,
What?
Never mind. I did that. Never mind. I actually put up the YouTube stream, and it played through my headphones, and it scared the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah.
I'm trying to get where the shows me the comments. 3 people are watching now.
Yeah, if you go, what's up, Mims? Who's Jay
Jonathan.
Mims?
That's Jonathan.
Okay. I know a Mims. That's why I didn't know who that was.
Subtitles. Where are the comments?
Bro, you actually gave us a good idea, brother. We might be starting going live because I forget I don't have to edit the YouTube part. So if it lets me download this, I can just edit it for the Spotify, and I can just do the YouTube as a non-edited version. But we're going to get started with the podcast just a second. Usually we got 4 of us. It's just 2 of us tonight. So Josh is dealing with some stuff, and Bryson wrecked his truck today, and then he's all right. He just couldn't make it. No, he just went to bed. Yeah, he's fine. He just went to bed. How do I get this dude off my do you see where it says J Mims?
I do see where it says J Mims.
How do I get that out of here? Let's see. Hold on 2 seconds. That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, it says howdy on there now.
Yeah, it says howdy, but I don't know how to delete that. I don't want to see that the whole time.
Dude, I
want you to comment. If you comment questions or whatever, that's cool, but I don't know why. Do you want me to go this big or you want me to go back going small? I usually go small.
I'm ugly today, so.
It's not just today. I got to figure out how to get this freaking thing.
It's not your fault, Jonathan. Chris is an idiot.
No, it's not his fault. I don't know how to. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, brother. I want people to comment. Guess, see the viewers' comments. No. Right? Is that what I want to do?
You tell me.
No, I want you to be able to see the viewers' comments. Not what I want. But how do I? Sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than what I thought it would be.
Can I log into TikTok?
There we go. Sorry, I accidentally clicked show. That's what it was. Me. Actually, I accidentally clicked it. Can you log into TikTok? What do you mean?
If I can log into TikTok, I should be able to send the code, dumbass. Verification. Okay.
What's up?
Un momento. Trying to. Oh, Josh. It's Josh. That's just his picks.
But yeah, he already sent his picks, but he's sending the records for last week. We're going to get started here in just a second. If anyone else joins besides Jonathan, I know it's late, so I don't expect many people.
All right, I'm ready to go when you are because I think Mark is about to come through here and start vacuuming.
Is he really? It's going to be loud?
Yes. So let's
go. Okay. How long do you think?
You're probably gonna have to mute me when he's coming through here. until I need to talk.
I'm definitely going to have to mute you. Sorry if you're watching this live stream. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have went live. Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the College Football Weekly Matchup, Week 11. We had a great week of college football for me. I know it was great for me. Clemson going down, Alabama going down. I won some money on it. I'm very excited. Georgia winning a big win over Tennessee. Preston, how was your week of college football?
Well, let me just put it to you like this. I've definitely grown up a lot from this season to the last couple of seasons because I only yelled at the TV twice when Clemson lost to Notre Dame. That was at the end of the first quarter and going into halftime. Pretty much in the third quarter, I knew it was pretty much over for us. But you know what? They live to play another down. They live to play another game. And Clemson's season's not over. They still could probably make a really good bowl game, if not the playoffs. They're not out of it just yet. Their percentage of chancing getting in there is a lot lower now, but they can still make the playoffs. You watch and see.
Yeah, I just don't know who they would make it over. I mean, I could see it. Some teams would have to lose. I don't know. I'm still on the train. Clemson's not that good. I wouldn't put Clemson in. That's just me, And I think you kind of see it a little bit now. I don't see how they put Clemson, especially they don't even have a quarterback now. Who are they going to start at quarterback? I mean, they have a quarterback controversy over there. But yeah, Josh and Bryson's not here with us tonight. We are live on YouTube. We're going to start doing this live on YouTube, but we're going to do the podcast. It'll still be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But Bryson and Preston's both not here with us tonight. They'll be back next week. So it is just me and Preston. Yeah, but let's recap some games here. We had Clemson fall. Obviously, mentioned it. Falling to Notre Dame. What was the final score? I didn't write it. What was the final score, Preston? I thought I had it written down. Anyway,
was Clemson 35-14?
35-14. I apologize. It was like 28-0. I mean, any more thoughts on that game? I mean, I watched most of the game. I saw the block. Would they block 2 punts? Was it 2 punts they blocked? I mean,
yeah, it was the very first punt of Clemson's scrimmage that they blocked. I mean, being an optimistic Clemson fan and just being an observer of the game, I want to say that the game's score was a lot more lopsided than it portrays the actual product that was on the field. Clemson was not able to score or move the ball with any succession because it seemed like Clemson's game plan was run the ball up the middle, first down, second down, third down when it's 3rd and 8. DJ is supposed to heave the ball down the sideline, and his receivers weren't able to make plays. And Notre Dame really made a really good game plan against Clemson. So I credit all of them for that because it is the game plan and execution on their part that prevailed in the matchup. But if you take away the 2 key interceptions that Clemson had, DJ a 96-yard interception for a touchdown, and K. Klubnik's second play of scrimmage where he threw the ball and it was intercepted on the 7-yard line and they were tackled, and 2 players later they scored a touchdown. They lost by 21 points in that matchup versus Notre Dame. You take away those 2 turnovers, they only lose by 7. Maybe they don't fall to 10th in the rankings behind a 2-loss Alabama, who's lost now twice in overtime. But that's just my thing. They would have lost the game regardless.
I will agree with you. I don't know how much, Clemson, Alabama, I mean, 2 losses. Alabama hasn't looked good all season. I don't know. Alabama should be 1 ranking behind Clemson. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Clemson's that good, but it's about that might be a good bowl game. We might be looking to get a good Josh versus Preston bowl game for Alabama versus Clemson. That's what I really want to see. I really want to see that as the bowl game.
It would be a very interesting matchup. That matchup probably. I mean, if they both win out, Clemson could go 12-1, or they'd go 12-1 most likely if they win all the way out, win the ACC, and
North
that's why
North Carolina.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was referring to when I said Clemson's chances to make the playoffs aren't completely over, because if they were to win out the regular season and win the ACC championship game over a top 12, top 10 North Carolina team, and say TCU loses this week to Texas, and then they would have to play Texas again because Texas is the second best team in the Big 12. If they lose to them twice, that takes care of the Big 12. I mean, you still have to get over. You still have to get over the Pac-12.
I like Oregon. I think Oregon's too. I'd probably put Oregon over. I'm a Georgia fan, brother. We are commenting in the chat too. Please comment if anyone else joins. I'm a Georgia fan. Yep. Obviously.
Okay, but let's look at the 2 losses though. Georgia's loss or Oregon's loss was to a number 1 ranked Georgia team, who's the best team that I've seen all
that's
season.
why I like Oregon.
No questions about it.
Dominated.
But they lost by 49 points. Okay, Clemson lost by 28 or 20. Excuse me, 21.
Was it that many? Really? I don't even remember.
It was 49-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
keep going.
Now that was a loss in week 1, and Clemson lost in week 9.
Yeah, 49-3.
And I do think who you lose to and when you lose to are both very important factors when kind of deciding, where you're going to slot teams in the rankings. Clemson's loss, undescribably painful, and it's just really, one of those kind of head scratches. Go ahead.
One thing I'll say about Oregon too, if I'm not mistaken, I mean the top teams like UCLA was ranked pretty high. I think they were undefeated at the time. I believe they dominated that game, and they also dominated against BYU. I would say Clemson kind of nothing bad against Clemson, but they a lot of those ranked upon. I mean, even Wake Forest games like that were pretty close. So I don't know. Me personally, I like Oregon over.
Oregon and that's a personal opinion, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. At the end of the day, eye test does matter slightly,
right.
But a victory is a victory, and it doesn't matter if you win by 75 or if you win by 7 or 5. A win is a win. It goes down in the win column. Oregon has definitely looked better from week 2 on than Clemson has in succession of the entire season, because Clemson has had moments where they've looked good on both sides of the ball, and they've had moments where, like last week, they looked good on defense, had no offense to show for it. I don't know, what's going on, if there's a confidence issue with DJ after being pulled versus Syracuse.
If I'm a team, I'd rather lose early in the season. I mean, if you lose early in the season, people say you may not have your feet under you. I mean, if Alabama would have lost early in the season, if they lost one game early in the season, they definitely would have had they'd have a way to get back up into the top 4.
I see what you're saying. The only thing I would say about that is you have, at that point, no room for error. You lose in week 9. Now you still have no room for error from 10 to 12 or 10 to 13 if you make their conference championship game. But you've still got a little more room for error going forward to the rest of the season, because, if most teams don't schedule their.
I would just say, I would just say looking at Clemson, looking at the other teams, I'm not saying anything bad about Clemson. It's the people look at it as the schedule, and I do too. But that's why it's kind of hard for Clemson, because you lose one game. It's hard to get back in it in the ACC or unless you're in the SEC. If you lose one game, it's hard. It's very hard to get in.
Well, the one thing I'll say about the schedule is let's not beat up on Clemson as it's their schedule, because Clemson plays the ACC. Now I get it, the ACC is not as tough as the Big Ten and the SEC, but let's not slump at Clemson's non-conference, because they still play an SEC South Carolina.
Yeah.
While not a powerhouse in the SEC, they do play an independent Notre Dame.
I'm just saying how everybody looks at it. I'm not saying just me. I'm saying that's how a lot of people look at it. They say, "Hey, they're not."
Yeah, it's okay if you want to say you're beating down the
bush. But
am
I right though?
You look at it.
No. I'm saying it. I'm right. That's how. Don't you think that's how a lot of people look at it? Not just me. I'm not saying a lot of people look at it and say, "Hey, Clemson doesn't have much room for error." Yeah, I believe. Clemson's
I agree on that when they said it.
But
there's seasons like last year. They played Georgia and South Carolina, 2 SECs. I don't think it's the non-conference schedule that Clemson plays that people bat their eyes. It's the conference that they play in, being the ACC, that people say, "Oh, they're not being tested. They're not playing a good enough opponent in the regular season 8 out of the 12 weeks." And I can understand what they're saying, but let's not look as if Georgia's schedule isn't filled with the last 10 years being only 2 years out of the last 10 that Tennessee's not been a great team. They still have to play Vanderbilt, Missouri, South Carolina, a week in Florida. These are not powerhouse teams to any standard. So I get what you're saying. Maybe that's just the Clemson fan in me.
I personally
being like, your conference schedule isn't always as tough as ours.
I would take some of the. I don't know. It's just, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just feel like some of those SEC teams below SEC teams could beat a lot of.
And that's the SEC bias that's built into you, and I completely understand that. I'd be brainwashed too if I was in the SEC.
Hey, well, I tell you one damn thing. It was right. It was right last week when I bet money line on Alabama.
You didn't bet against them for any other reason, just to get in a.
No, I swear, I watched that Georgia. I did not make that bet until after the Georgia game. I said Alabama's not that good, and I knew Notre Dame was going to win. I said Notre Dame was going to win.
What do you mean Alabama's not that good? Their 2 losses are into overtime. The number 4
yeah, but they're not that
and the number 8 or the number 7 team. They're a great team.
Preston, they've almost lost to Texas A&M. They've almost lost other games too. I'm saying they haven't.
What was the word you said though? What was the word you said?
But what I mean by that, they are not that good compared to other Alabama teams at all.
I mean, it's hard to it's hard to win all the time by 30 points. Well, if you're winning if you're winning every game but 2 in overtime and double overtime, and you're losing to the number 8 team and the number 4 team in the country or number 5 team in the country, I mean, that's a pretty good season. Now, I get it. Tuscaloosa is not expected to lose 2 games in a season, but I mean, honestly, I'm not as down on this Alabama.
Michigan is weather tested champs. What do you mean by? I know Michigan had a rain game this weekend. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going before we get too long into. We're going to talk about some other games. Had LSU over Alabama, 32-31. Obviously, like I said, $40 money line. I'm going to mention again. I won $500. I was very excited. Both LSU beating Alabama and Notre Dame beating Clemson. But any thoughts on that game, Preston, as far as the LSU Alabama game? I know you were busy watching the Clemson game, but
no, the game was pretty much over at that point. No, I watched the game. Like I said, Alabama and LSU. I mean, they really show why they, are consistently highly regarded as some of the best teams in the country. I mean, they got talent on both sides of the ball. A little faster rise to the top that I would say for LSU. I mean, especially for my own personal, belief. I didn't think LSU was going to be this good, especially starting the season off losing to Florida State and then getting pretty much waxed by Tennessee. So, LSU looks really good. And like I said, Alabama, not to their typical standard, they're still a very good team to lose in overtime.
I mean, they've looked good this last few weeks. I'm not a fan of Coach Kelly, Brian Kelly. I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of him. I'm still not really a fan of him. I don't know. I just don't like the guy. But the teams played good the last several weeks. LSU's looked good. That's probably who Georgia's going to play in the SEC championship more than likely, unless something happens. If LSU falls here shortly, I don't know how else they could do it. But yeah, I mean, they've looked good. Bama just hasn't looked that great. Me personally, I mean, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, hey, it's just Bama, they're slow start, but Bama just hasn't looked good. I mean, Bryce Young, I know a couple games Bryce Young's had to put the team on his back. I don't know, man. I'm worried for him. I'm worried for Bama. I don't know. Maybe this is the end of the Saban run. We'll see. Probably not, but we'll see. Let's keep it going. Georgia making work of Tennessee, 27-13. Any thoughts on the Georgia game, Preston, before we keep going? Any thoughts on the –
I just don't see how teams can beat Georgia this year. I mean, there's an argument to be made that LSU has a chance and Tennessee can beat them in a rematch and maybe Michigan or Ohio State, but Georgia looks so good right now on both sides of the ball. Defense, they're missing one of their best linebackers who's their captain on the defensive side that puts them in the right positions and gets the calls in. And honestly, it didn't seem like that really affected them too bad.
Pass defense is serious. I mean, against Tennessee's got number 1 ranked offense. I mean,
and they made Hooker run, and they made him run, and they made him.
One thing I don't understand as far as like defense, like me personally, I feel like Tennessee came in. I feel like you need to get pressure at Georgia. I mean, I've always said that. I think if you get pressure at Georgia, that's what Missouri did. Missouri sent like 4 or 5 every time. I just feel like if you get pressure at Georgia, that's where you can have a chance to be able to slow them down on offense and be able to beat them.
I think there was a momentum switch early in that game when Georgia had fumbled the ball and Tennessee had recovered and they weren't able to get a touchdown. I think that could have been a factor that,
I was worried
a little bit into it.
Right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting at the bar and I was watching it and I was that and then the safety call that wasn't a safety that I think was a safety or an
hold on. Whoa. You thought – or no, okay, never mind. I thought you said you thought it wasn't a safety. Yes. No, I apologize. No, you're right. I apologize.
I think it was such a call. I think
that was an awful call.
Where
I think you either call
whatever you called it on the field was what it was going to stand because there wasn't enough evidence in the video. I believe there wasn't enough evidence in the video to return it.
I think there's no doubt you either call that incomplete pass or you call
That's what they ended up calling it. That's what they called it was an incomplete pass. Well, like I was saying, if that had been called a safety,
it should have been a safety. I mean, the 500-pounder was in the damn end zone. It should have been a safety.
I mean, like I said, it was one of those calls, whatever you call it on the field is what's going to stand. But back to my original point was if Tennessee was able to get that ball in the end zone, maybe the momentum, doesn't fully go to Georgia, and they were able to just dominate from there on, and maybe it wouldn't have been 24-3 at halftime. But Georgia's just a different beast this time.
I can't remember for some reason. I don't know what. I guess they did call it incomplete. But I remember I was arguing. I didn't think it was. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I hate doing this show so late because I can't remember a lot of things. But yeah, Georgia making work. Tennessee still got a shot to get in though. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what happens there. Let's keep it going. We got Liberty beating Arkansas. I didn't catch too much of the game. I know Arkansas was 14 point favorites. But, yeah, I mean, Liberty's lost one game. They're ranked 19 now. Don't know too much about Liberty. Honestly, didn't catch the game. But Arkansas, I was high on Arkansas with the quarterback coming in. I know some people said they don't like – what is it? Is it KJ Jefferson, the quarterback, I believe? I know some people like him. Some people don't like him. I was high on him coming in, but not looking too good. Also had Ohio State struggling in the rain against one-win Northwestern. I mean, I was at C&BSports, and someone texted me, my cousin texted me, about them losing. They were struggling at the time. They were down in the game. Kind of surprising. I mean, any thoughts on, you think it's just the weather? I mean, you think Ohio State's still –
I mean, the weather, but like I said, no team's going to be dominant for 12 weeks out of the season. I'm okay with
you ought to be dominant against one-win Northwestern.
I understand you should be, but
again,
you win the game. That's I think
Georgia wasn't dominant against Missouri. I don't know how many wins Missouri has. I know they got more wins than one, I believe, but I don't know. There's been a couple games. I mean, Ohio State's struggled. I mean, early in the season, but we'll have to see. I mean, I liked Ohio State's offense. I like Stroud. I like the receiver they got. I like the running back. I believe they got two good receivers.
They're immensely talented. So,
I mean, they're
honestly,
very
I wouldn't
talented on. Yeah, they're very talented on the offensive end. So we'll see. Is there any other games we want to talk about as far as I know those were the big main games. I focused on the big games this week. If anybody wants to ask any questions, we're going to keep it going in the chat. We'll if you got questions in the chat, I know there's not many people here. It's late. We're going to start doing this live, and I'll post it on – I'll edit it and post it on Spotify. You hear the vacuum. Oh, no, that's not good.
Let's go.
So I'm going to start muting you once I hear it. All right, let's keep it going. We'll talk. We'll do our top four later. Preston, we always do a rant of the week. Do you have a rant? I don't believe I have one this week, but I know Bryson would have one, and I'll give you the story, but I'm not going to give you the rant. Do you have anything?
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
I mean, Streeter, what the heck are you doing, my guy? How can you not set this offense up for success? You had a week off from Syracuse. Syracuse came into Clemson, kicked him in the mouth, slapped him across the face, and they were sitting there like begging Clemson to do something. And the only reason Clemson won that game was because of the defense and because of freaking Will Shipley. That is the only reason Clemson won that game, because DJ was pulled. Cade was terrible. Cade was just a game manager at that point. It's like we're Georgia all over again, where we have all this talent, can't do anything with it, and the quarterback's just kind of just like, oh, here's the ball, hand it off, and hoping the running back gets a 75-yard touchdown. So they had the week off. And explain to me what the process is that we either go with DJ or go with Cade. DJ's not going to be the quarterback next season. So why are we putting so much time and effort into this guy? He's not proven to be that he's a successful quarterback. The guy's got all the potential, but he's not putting it together. And you know what? I don't blame him. I blame a lot of the game plan and a lot of the offensive coordinator and Dabo for not being decisive enough to decide what they're going to do. And until they figure out their offensive coordinator situation and their quarterback situation and what they're going to do on a game plan, because 3rd and long is not the right call for DJ to be throwing it up or a QB design run up the middle, because DJ's not fast. He's not getting around anybody's edge. He's going to run through you, and either you tackle him or you don't. The guy's not elusive enough to make anything happen in open field. So what they're doing, I have no idea. And until it doesn't get fixed, they're going to end up losing 1 or 2 more games the rest of this season. There is too much talent on this roster to be looking like that versus Notre Dame. Now, that's the second time Clemson has gone into Notre Dame. The first one sucked that they lost in double overtime. But you know what? That was the backup quarterback then in DJ. This is the starting quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, and this is the second time he's looked completely lost this season, not completing all of last year. Last year was terrible, okay? I could have put Chris back there and been a better quarterback. So until
damn right, because I'm better than both of them. Shit. Go ahead.
Until they figure out what they're going to do on the offensive side of the ball, or bring in another guy like Jeff Scott, who was just fired from USF, who was responsible for bringing in all the wide receiver talent and a huge part of recruiting any of the offensive talent, while they're quarterback, offensive line, those guys. He was the guy that was responsible for calling the plays with Tony Elliott for 2 national championships, bringing in all these recruits. He was just fired. Hopefully they bring him in as an analyst so that he can get some kind of momentum going back on this offense. They got no chance at winning anything important over the next couple of years if they don't get this figured out. And this is a massive flaw in Dabo's thing. And he needs to decide whether or not he is going to be too stubborn to decide to tell everybody that he was wrong from bringing up somebody from inside his own organization like he was in 2007, because bringing up for somebody instead of hiring somebody from the outside who knows what they're doing, is proven, and can make this offense potent enough to make a run for a championship, they've got no chance at winning anything important. And that's my rant of the week.
Gotcha. Yeah. He'll be telling us how good DJ is next week. We'll see. At halftime, maybe telling him, so he'll probably throw for 4 touchdowns against
Louisville.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not throwing that. Yeah, timeout. He's not the one who gets 4 touchdowns against Louisville. Not that defense.
He might have 4 touchdowns the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's keep it going. We're going to go ahead and get into the upcoming games. We'll talk top 4, maybe a little bit of playoff talk towards the end. But let's go ahead and get into the upcoming games for our picks. I believe Preston and Bryce. I believe Josh and Bryson sent me their picks. I'm not 100% yet, but I'll have to look. Let's go. We're going with Saturday, 12 o'clock, Saturday at noon. LSU at Arkansas. LSU favored by 3.5. I believe LSU. What is LSU ranking now? What are they? 6, 7?
6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
I don't have it off the
No,
top
tell
of
it 5.
I should have wrote it. If anyone knows in the chat, I meant to write it down. Preston, who you got in that game?
I got LSU minus 3.5. I think they're going to be able to muster up enough offense that they should be able to cover the spread easily.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with Arkansas. I thought LSU should be favored higher in this game, and it kind of worries me. I'm kind of going based off the line here, just because Arkansas coming off a loss against Liberty. I think they ought to be ready to play. They're playing at Arkansas, I believe. LSU coming off a big win, then they come back and play at noon. They're coming back to play at noon after a big win. I'll mute you in just a second if that vacuum's coming. But they're coming back after a big win, probably one of the biggest wins of the regular season since they won the national championship, to play an Arkansas team who's coming off a loss against Liberty. Got to take Arkansas here. Let's keep it going. Saturday, 3:30, Alabama at Ole Miss. Alabama favored by 11.5. I'm muting you because I hear the thing, but I'll unmute you in just a second. Alabama at Ole Miss. Bama favored by 11.5. This is a tough game for me here. I don't know if I want to go Bama Miami. I feel like it's a lot of points. I personally feel like a lot of points. Alabama at Ole Miss. If I said that right, I might have said a different team. Sorry. Bama coming off a loss, but I don't know if it's the same Bama team. I'm going to take Ole Miss here. Taking Ole Miss plus 11.5. Are you writing down the picks too? Okay, I'll write them down. Who you got, Preston? Who you got? Are you there?
Alabama.
Alabama. Preston's taking Alabama minus 11.5. I was going to see if I got their picks real quick.
Yeah, I think they should be able to somewhat recover from this loss. I don't think this is a back-breaking loss, and I do think the team is immensely talented. I think they should be able to recover, but Ole Miss lost to LSU already, and LSU beat Alabama. So technically, I think this is only between Ole Miss and LSU at this point. So, if Alabama has any chance, I think they have to win this game.
Gotcha, yeah. Josh did take LSU, and he took Ole Miss. So Josh took LSU and Ole Miss. He did not take Bama. So he took Bryson, of course, after I talked to him about 7 minutes before the show, told him to send the picks. He did not. So we'll get his picks during next week. Bryson did go 1-7 last week. I forgot to mention the records while I'm thinking about it here. Bryson went 1-7 last week. Preston, you led the week at 4-4. So you did lead the week last week. I know I didn't mention this. I forgot.
I thought it was worse than that.
No, you went 4-4. You 32, 39, and 39 over, or was it 30? Yeah, 32 and 39 overall. Bryson went 1-7. He's 32 and 39 overall. I went 3-5, 28 and 43 overall. God, I'm doing so bad. And Josh went 3-5, 35 and 36 overall.
How is he still so much faster than us?
Josh is in the lead right now. I know I probably don't have a shot. Let's keep it going here. We're going Saturday, 3:30, Louisville at Clemson. Clemson favored by 7.5. I'm gonna go. You all right?
Oh, I didn't know what that was. I'm sorry. I figured it out now.
I'm not basing this against Clemson. I'm going Louisville.
Just say it. Just say
I like Louisville's
Stop
defense.
trying to make it softer for me.
Time out. I like Louisville's defense. They've been better these last few games, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched much of them. I've caught a little bit of a couple games, but I don't know. I think they've been playing better the last few games. Their defense is pretty good. I think Malik Cunningham's still back there. I liked him for a while. I don't know. I just don't. I'm going Louisville. 7.5 is a lot. 7.5 is a lot for a team. I just think 7.5 is too many points.
Do you know where this game is played?
It's at Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Who you got?
The game's at Clemson. Clemson needs to bounce back. I think they're a much better team than Louisville. I think they're coached better, except for the offensive side. And for that reason, I'm going to take Louisville plus 7.5. I don't think Louisville is going to be able to score a lot of points. I don't think they're going to be able to score a lot of points on Clemson's defense. But, I've been wrong before. I did say Clemson was going to beat Notre Dame. But Clemson's got no offensive talent.
See, now Preston's in the spot where he's like all pity about his team. He's like, oh, the offense is no good. And then when they win, he's going to be back here next week. Yeah, Clemson won. Their offense is back. Yeah, against a great Louisville team, great Louisville defense. He's going to be – I can see it now. I can see it coming. Josh did pick Clemson. So
Sucker.
Josh did pick Clemson, so looks like we got some different picks right now. I have to write down the picks after this. Don't let me forget to do that. All right, let's go Saturday, 4 p.m. We got South Carolina at Florida. Florida favored by 7.5. I haven't saw much of South Carolina lately. I don't know what they've been doing, to be honest with you.
Losing.
Preston, who are you taking?
Give me Florida minus 7.5. I think they should be able to cover this. I mean, they've got all the elements in their favor right now to win this game by more than 10 points. So give me Florida minus 7.5.
Yeah, they're coming. That's right. They come off a loss they lost against Missouri. Missouri hasn't been bad. They beat Texas A&M, beat Kentucky. Florida's been playing all right. What do you say?
Definitely
Florida. Yeah, man. I mean, it's these Florida-Carolina games. I mean, I'm going to take Florida as well. Florida's been better as of late, if I'm not mistaken. I got a terrible memory. I know I watched Sports of Florida the last recent weeks, but it feels like going from Saturday to what day it is, Wednesday, it feels like you forget everything. But
just remember back to week 2. We're at Josh's house in Atlanta. You, me, Bryce, and Josh's friends, your brother, and we're sitting there thinking Florida had changed and turned over a new leaf, and they were an elite team. Where we were then. What a time. What a time.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I'm going to take Florida as well, minus 7.5. Josh also taking Florida there. Let's go to the next game. We are going with Georgia, Saturday, 7 p.m. Georgia at Mississippi State. Georgia favored by 16.5. I'm going to lead us off here. At Mississippi State, I was looking. I think Mississippi State plays teams when they're a big underdog. I think they play well, so I'm going Mississippi State. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that they keep it within 10 points or around 10 to 12 points. I just think at Mississippi State they're going to come prepared to play, and that's why I'm taking them. Who are you taking?
Yeah, give me Georgia also minus 16.5. I think they might.
No, I took Mississippi State plus 17, 16.5.
Well, then let me take another win and
I'm hoping Georgia
myself from Georgia or from Chris, because I think Georgia's going to lay a whooping.
I'm hoping Georgia beats them by more than 16.5. It's one of those things where I look at the line and I'm like, I don't know, just a lot of. I mean, it's Georgia. It should be that many points, but I don't know. It's just something I'm looking at. I think it's too many. So Josh also took Georgia. Let's go with TCU at Texas. Texas favored by 7.5 against number 4 TCU.
They're favored? Are you
Yes,
sure?
by 7.5. Yes, everyone was surprised by this line. Texas is
hope
favored by
Vegas is right.
7.5, and this is the big game of the week. By the way, Saturday 7:30. I put this as a C&B Sports big game of the week.
And
Number
is that
4.
Texas?
Yes, it's at
Oh,
Texas.
Jesus, sweet Jesus, please.
Who you going with?
Oh my God, I'm going with TCU plus 7.5. I think they're going to end up winning this game outright. But my God, if Clemson's going to have a chance, they need Texas to win this freaking game.
I'm going with the Longhorns, man. Give me the Longhorns. It's a weird line, and I'm telling you, if you look back at the last few if you look back at the podcast, all these lines that that's been weird like this, and the team's been favored. The team we didn't pick always won. All these weird lines, the other team always won. I don't know. I think Texas may shock some people here. Come out and win by 7.5. TCU's had a lot of close games. TCU hasn't, really played much. Everybody, they had a lot of close games where they've had to come back. I don't know. I'm taking Texas, and
Good pick.
Bijan Robinson. I'm going based off the line there. So let me go next game Saturday.
Wait. Who did Josh take?
Oh, I apologize. Let me see who Josh. I'm pretty sure he took TCU. No, Josh took Texas as well. He has my idea. Josh took Texas.
Dude, I think I'm going to catch up to Josh. He keeps doing stuff like this. I'm catching up.
You might though. I mean, you might. But I mean, dude, I'm telling you, looking at those weird lines, man, we haven't been.
I hope you're right. I hope they're right. I don't care if Texas wins by 1 or 100. I just need Texas to win for Clemson to have a chance.
Gotcha.
And then Clemson's got to win.
All right, let's go to the next game. North Carolina, Saturday, 7:30. North Carolina at Wake Forest. Wake Forest favored by 3.5. I'm going to double check that, by the way, while you keep going. I just want to make sure that's right.
He turned it off.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear him anyway. Go ahead. Who you got?
If this game was a couple weeks ago, I would have said Wake Forest minus 3.5 for sure. But North Carolina, they started slow a couple weeks ago, but they were able to put a whooping on whoever they're playing. So, I mean, they've got the offense, and for that reason, I'm going to take North Carolina plus 3.5. I think they're going to win this game outright, if not barely cover. Yeah,
I was looking at the line to make sure the line was right here because it kind of shocked. I mean, I like North Carolina. It is Wake Forest favored by 3.5. I've liked Wake Forest too. The over/under in this game. Guess what?
I bet it's like 100 in this game? 112.
77.5.
I was off by like 30.
That's a lot of points. I've never seen an over/under that high.
Look at the 2021 ACC championship game where it was Pittsburgh versus Wake Forest.
Is that what the line? Yeah, but I'm saying, is that what the line was like to start out?
The over/under was like very high.
Yeah, I'm going North Carolina. I like the quarterback. Hope Derek May gets drafted by the Saints. I mean, I think that'd be. Yeah, I'm hoping he's a good NFL quarterback. I don't know. I like Derek May. I like the Josh Downs and the receiver. Wake Forest. I know they gave up like 50 points against the sorry Clemson Tigers, so that's why I'm taking North Carolina.
Thank you for that.
On the road against Wake Forest. All right, Preston, you got a lock of the week?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go off the beaten path just a little bit. I'm going to go with Maryland plus 10 at Penn State. I think Maryland's got the dogs in them to be able to score some points versus Penn State, who at times has looked elite and looks shaky. So, I think Tua's younger brother, Talia Tagovailoa, I think he's going to be able to put some, air under that ball. And I think Maryland might win this game outright, honestly. But they don't have to win. They just got to be close by 10 points. And I think, Maryland's going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take Maryland plus 10 at Penn State.
Maryland at Penn State plus 10. I didn't write one down. I was looking to see if I could find a different game because I know you're going to hate me if I took.
Just go ahead and say it. You've done it for 3 times now.
Hey, and it's worked every time. I mean, it's the lock, man. I mean, it's the lock. I mean, if you followed my locks against Clemson, they've won. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is fair. I think they have won. I mean, if you've done a lock, I want to put our locks in a parlay this week, but I'm not like 100% on the Louisville. I don't like Clemson that much. And I know you took. It kind of worries me that you didn't take Clemson, so I don't know if Clemson might win this. So I was just looking here. I don't think I want to take Arkansas as a lock. I feel good about it. I feel good about the Ole Miss, but I'm going to take. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking mm, Louisville. Sorry, Louisville plus 7.5. I think it's going to be like a 3-point game. Let me get Louisville. All right. Is there anything we want to talk about as far as playoff or anything? I mean, we can give our top four. Do you have a top four as far as the playoff?
Yeah, I've got it exactly how it is right now. I think Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, and TCU 4. Honestly, you can put 2 and 3 and you can swip them out. I don't think anybody's got an argument right now for number 1 except for Georgia. They've kind of distanced themselves from everybody else in the field. Um, I know Tennessee has one loss and they lost by a decent amount versus Georgia, but they were on the road and a couple of different, harsher elements. So honestly, I wouldn't be terribly upset if Tennessee was 4 over an undefeated TCU. But like I said, 2 to 5, uh, there's no argument there. I think the only thing that's solid right now is number 1 Georgia.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd probably agree with it too. I mean, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. I mean, I don't think there shouldn't be many disagreements there. I know Bryson had a strong disagreement against. He wanted LSU over Oregon. I don't personally agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I like how Oregon's been playing. LSU's had some games where they haven't looked good at all, and they've just put it on the last few weeks. So I don't know. I would even argue Oregon over Tennessee, but I know Tennessee did put it on some teams. So I like Oregon to be able to get in at number 4 down the road once TCU loses. I think TCU will
It
fall
did.
eventually. What's that?
He said, "I know it hurt to say that, huh, Preston?" I said, "Yeah, it hurts a little bit,
Oh,
but it's football. That's why we love it."
It came up later for me. But yeah, I mean, do you have any other thoughts as far as the rankings? I mean, as far as that?
No, I just don't like that they still put Clemson behind a 2-loss Alabama. While they did lose in overtime and on the road both times, I think there's an argument to be said that Clemson should be at least number 9 or Alabama 11. I just don't see putting Alabama in front of Clemson when they both have looked not to their normal self, albeit their losses are better than Clemson's. I still don't agree with them putting above us.
Gotcha. Did I give Josh's last game before we head out? I don't know if I gave Josh's his last game. He did take North Carolina as well, so Josh did take North Carolina. But I'll get Bryson's picks here shortly. I think that's about. I mean, is there anything else we need to add as far as?
I just want to say the player of the week I've got.
Oh, we forgot. I forgot. I totally forgot. I apologize.
A little off the normal path here. I'm not going to go with a player. I'm going to go with a coach. I'm going to take Brian Kelly. First season at LSU. The second time he's done this. The first time was successful, or the second time was successful. The 2-point conversion in overtime to beat Alabama with the same play that Clemson used to beat Alabama in the 2016 National Championship in Tampa, Florida, in the West end zone on the right-hand side to Hunter Renfrow. I thought that was a great play to a true freshman tight end that was able to receive the ball and fall right over the goal line to win the game.
Gotcha. What's Notre Dame's coach's name? I'm taking him. I forgot his name. No, I'm kidding. I didn't write down a player of the week, so I'm not going to have a player of the week. I don't feel like looking it up right now. I forgot. I totally forgot. I should have done it earlier. I'm going to mute you real quick because your mic.
Be a professional.
Yeah, I'm not going to get a player of the week, but yeah, I think that's about it. We're going to do this. Hopefully, do this live more often. Like I said, Bryson will be here next week. Josh should be here next week, and we'll. I'm going to post this on Spotify, edit it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But yeah. Hopefully it's a good week 11 of college football. Appreciate everybody watching. Peace. All right. I haven't ended the live stream, but all right, if you're watching live, Mims and what's your buddy's name? Jonathan, or whoever else is watching. We're going to try to do this live more often, so hopefully. I want to go live for some more games too, but I haven't had time. So I might go live this weekend maybe.
Who's playing Sunday? Is there any good matchup on Sunday?
I don't think so.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, if there's not a good matchup, I'm not going to go live. So, I'd have to look. I can tell you real quick. Let's see who's playing. I just did the NFL show, so I should have known. It is. Oh, actually, yeah, it is. Chargers at Niners. That's not a bad one. 7.5. Dude, Niners.
Good night, John.
I like the Niners, but the Niners sometimes they play down to their opponents. Chargers haven't looked good, but you never know with the Chargers.
Well, ask your dad what he
They're
thinks of the Niners.
Kind
for
of
sure.
banged up. My dad's never. The Niners could be 16-0 right now. My dad's negative against the Niners.
Well,
He likes them, but all right, brother. Well,
see you later, my guy.
all right, appreciate it. All right, see you.
Sir.
Good
Bye.
luck in the sauna or wherever you're going.
Thank you.